Welcome to KSOK Uncensored. It's great to be back. I took 3 weeks off, had some great events locally. We had the Take Back Oregon event that I was a part of. We had a huge event here in Southwest Washington. I had a chance to moderate Dr. Ben Carson, who came to Portland, Oregon, and he was part of an oral board or a panel interview. And I was able to compile questions and moderate and be a part of that amazing event. And I am back ready to go with an amazing guest today who I've actually met. I met Jim. Jim Price is our guest today. And I met him at the past two speaking engagements that I was a part of here locally in October. So Jim is a proud father of four who has had quite an interesting journey through life. He's dabbled in a bit of everything from managing projects and working on high security projects for the Department of Defense to being a youth pastor and coaching wrestling. He's even played on the Wichita Rugby Team, and now he's stepping up to the mic to dig deep into the unfiltered facts. And we have to dig real deep these days for that. With no fancy talk or hidden motives, Jim is here to bring you all the latest news in local and national politics. But today we will touch on all that, but we are going to dive into all things gender roles. Jim, great to have you on KSOK Uncensored.
Well, thank you. That was a great introduction. I appreciate that. And yeah, I've led quite a life. I've really been very fortunate. I've had some unfortunate things happen, but yet all those things seem to really bounce back to a very positive form.
Bounce and
Yeah, they kind
bounce.
of bounce on me at once, but they get off, and I make a lot of great things out of the chop suey I get here. No, I've been very
Yes.
fortunate to be able to bounce it, and I think that has everything to do with your heart and your intent and where you are.
Right.
Uh, I actually talked about that on my show just today, and I know that you have your shows that you do each week, and I do a daily show on thejimpriceshow.com. So if people are interested, go out there and check it out.
Let's do it. Yeah, it's amazing. And the first event that Jim and I were both at, this is Baker City, Oregon, very remote Eastern Oregon. And he literally had a fan of his show drive from Southwest Washington 5 hours to go see Jim speak at the event and then back. So he did it back, and that was just a wild. So he really traveled 10 hours in one day to see you. So you have some very loyal fans out there. And then he came to your next speaking engagement in Southwest Washington. So I know that what you do definitely has impact. I want to talk to you about something that happened when I first met you. So you guys, I'm walking through these double doors. Jim and I were exiting the same building at the same time, double doors. And I just instinctively opened my own door, not even necessarily realizing that Jim had opened it for me to walk through. And so I had to he called me out on it, which I love. I do that to my husband all the time. And he's like, feels like I'm castrating him every time I walk through my own door. But
Yeah.
you offered an explanation to me on why women and just why I did that. And I would just love for you to share with the audience what you shared with me.
Well, the sad part of this is, and folks, and this is going to make a lot of people either rethink what they're doing or they're going to get upset. And if you're getting upset, then you're falling back to your programming, because your programming has told you that you are to be you. You gotta be. I'm a woman. Hear my vagina roar thing, whatever, which is very unattractive. That's like birth control for men. It's like we don't want anything to do with a woman who says that. So this is an issue for me when I have to really slide this back very slowly. I want everybody to listen. We have been programmed to believe that we are all the same. But yet, at the very exact same time, we're all told that we're very unique and very special. Well, this is actually causing you to hesitate. And I say often on the show, he who hesitates dies. Well, the problem with this is that when you get in this hesitation mode, when you can't be a man and do things that actually allows you to be manly. Let's say open the door. Well, that's an effort thing. That's a courtesy. I'm not saying you can't open the door. I'm not saying that you are lesser than. What I am offering is you as a gift of passage through an opening without any effort. And I humble myself to say, listen, I want to do this for you as a man because I believe in taking care of those that are around me. And in the assertion of that, and for a lot of people, is meaning that I am now putting you in a lesser position, but in reality, I'm lifting you up to create a better you and let you be amazing in being a woman. And a woman
Right.
is an amazing thing to be. You don't have to do anything magical. Just be a woman and stay in your lane. Now that means
Right.
that there's a lot of things out there that we step on each other for because we've through the programming we've been told that I need to be the CEO and I need to break through the class ceiling. And then there was even an event on television the other night, or is going to be on the television very soon, where women are breaking through the glass ceiling. And the sad part of this is I don't know when you guys are going to quit fighting, because if I remember right, the women's suffrage was about getting the right to vote. And I think someone
Right.
skyjacked you and took you to a different place than you really wanted to land. I think we're now so far away from what the idea was of saying, hey, we want to have a voice, to now it's, tearing down men, making them feel less than, emasculating men is exactly why we have a weak country right now where men can't stand up and do man things because there's a constant denigration of men and their authority. A masculine man will never ever make a woman feel less than, but an
Right.
emasculating will make a man feel less than anything on earth.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's something going on here, and I think we would both agree that this was by design. I feel like this has been 100 plus years in the making to really divide and turn women off from men, and to turn men off from these women who have this masculine energy. How did this come about, in your opinion?
Well, a part of this is the depopulation of the earth. And I know that the Georgia Guidestones is a very popular pinpoint to that. But in reality, I found out just recently that that was a group of men out of Iowa. And it's not quite as nefarious as we would hope that the establishment was doing. But there was a group of men who decided they wanted to tell everybody, keep it under 500 million. The sad part of this is this goes back to Rockefeller, the Rockefeller Institute, who went out and created the AMA, the Department of Education, the FBI. By the way, the FBI was started by the Rockefellers. They went out and hired a network of investigators
Wow.
across the country to go and investigate every city, county, state, and federal employee, and then have a rap sheet on them so then they could leverage them. And they said, "Hey, government, would you guys like to have this?" Anyway, the Rockefeller Institute has been very instrumental in destroying our country and the fabric of what we know it to be. And by the way, guys, we went from having 12 to 15 children per family now that we can't even have one kid per family. That tells
Right.
me that the woman has been disengaged from the family so much that to have a child, to give birth, to bring life to this earth is such a burden. Then how could you ever bother to slow your life down long enough to bother to give life to something else that was exactly like you? That's what
Right.
we've done
Right.
to. We're no longer having the kids. We're not having the big families. We're no longer coming together. We're not having generations in a home. Now it's everybody lives by themselves in a studio apartment in a cage, and you're nothing but chattel. And they have manipulated and used you in such a way that you are doing their work for them by saying, "I'm a woman. Hear me, I vagina roar." Well, now you're just echoing what they taught you, and you're a good little doobie. Go out and
Right.
be a good little student and go do that woman drawer thing, and don't be effeminate. Don't be a woman. Don't let men take care of you. I'm going to tell you right now, men go out and slay dragons all day long. If you guys look at the paved roads you're on, the bridges, the skyscrapers,
Right.
the sewer systems, I don't see a lot of women doing it. Granted, women can do it, but the majority of these things are done by men. And I think we should
Right.
celebrate that and let men. Women do great women things. They do amazing women
Right.
things. And I don't want to do women things. I want to do guy things. But I've been told that I have to do women things. The women have to tell the guy things. And then we get this
Right.
constant fight, which way is up. And then we go, oh, we're all mad at each other. And we don't
Yeah,
have to be.
exactly. Exactly. And I love that. I know you got to meet Lindsey Graham, Patriot Barbie, at our most recent event. And she had shared with us that she was on the airplane and she was getting her luggage out of the overhead. And a man asked if she needed assistance. And she's like, I could have gotten it on my own, no problem. But I let him be a man. And I said, sure, that would be great. Thank you. And he gave it to her. And she said she could kind of tell he put his shoulders back. He felt good about that act of kindness. And I
Yeah.
think that we as women, we really need to start focusing on that again, and seeing that as the positive that it is. I know I had somebody on, Monica Yates. She's Australian, and she's an expert in helping women step out of their masculine armor and tap into their core feminine desires and really live a life in alignment. And to your point, it's going with how we have been designed, not against the grain. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of the main reasons so many women are miserable today, and men, but they're fighting their inherent design to be a certain way
Fighting
because they're
yourself.
being told
You're
it's
fighting
not okay.
it's all up in here. You're fighting like,
Yes.
like how many
Yes.
times have you, and I'm going to ask you this, and this is a bit of a bear trap, but how many times you go like, I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to deal with this crap. I don't want to go to the store.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to think about that. Right. Well, imagine if you
Yeah.
just didn't have to. Imagine if the
Right.
biggest thing you had to worry about is getting the eggs collected today out of the hen house. What if you
Right,
just had to
right.
make darned a few socks, or that you were hemming up your husband's pants, or what? Imagine if you just were doing simple tasks like that. Oh, I gotta cook dinner tonight. Oh boy,
Yeah.
that's my entire challenge for today. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not enjoy
Right.
that time to rear your children in a way that makes them just like you want? You want your kids to believe in
Right.
the Bible and Constitution? Then teach them at home. Don't go
Right.
like, I don't know why that kid's teacher doesn't do exactly like I tell them to do. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
Yeah.
Go keep them
I
home, them
Yeah.
yourself. So
Exactly.
anyway,
So many parents don't want to put in the work, and
yeah.
it would be easier. I think you know my story. I homeschool. We've been homeschooling for 3 years now, and now I'm actually teaching the
Oh,
7th
man.
graders within the program. And it's one of those things where initially I did say, "We have an issue here." I went up the rungs, right? Like I am used to in corporate America, didn't get
Right.
anywhere with the superintendent. And so then I had to make that tough decision to unenroll the kids and then figure out what was next, which did lead to not working anymore in the typical 9 to 5 corporate America, right? And so there's been
Did you die?
sacrifice there. What
Did
was
you die?
that? No,
Did you
I'm
die?
alive. I still have a pulse and I feel
Hey!
great. And you know what's funny? Looking back, Jim, I can't even imagine going back to it, right? And my father-in-law asked me, we were just visiting them just recently. He's like, "Do you miss it?" Because I said something about a deadline. And I was like, I really don't. I really don't, because what I'm doing now actually has purpose and
Yeah.
meaning, and it's my children are benefiting from it. And
Yeah.
so the whole thing is, yeah, if you find a problem, you have to do something about it, and you have
Right.
to re-examine life. I want to ask you something. So, ask your opinion
Mhm.
on why the statistic is moving this direction. So, we're moving from in 2019, it started changing to where divorce rates are actually decreasing. And I want to know if you think it has to do with the fact that less people are getting married, or some people are saying, oh, well, in 2019, due to the pandemic, people were forced to kind of just refocus on the family. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's a combination of of those kind of together. But here's what it really is: I men don't want to get married to you women anymore. It's as simple as that. If I get married to you and I give you 4 kids and I'm married to you for 12 years, now I got to pay 6 years of alimony and I got to pay 18 years of child support, depending on how old that kid is. And so, what makes me want to go give half of my crap away when I can just live with somebody or have a part time relationship with somebody and I don't have to really be fully involved? Because if I'm going to lose everything, then what value is that to me? And then, if you realize that 70% of all divorces are initiated by women, and it's like 99% of all women get custody of their kids. But let me give you a statistical fact that actually shows you that the courts have gotten this completely wrong. This is absolutely 100% factual here. And I'm going to use very low numbers. I want you guys to listen to what I'm saying here. 70% of man, woman, father, mother households keep their children out of jails. 30% of all single mothers keep their children out of jails. A woman and a man, a woman, the mother, and a man in the house, not not relative, not the father, but just a man in the house, creates a 50% likelihood of keeping kids out of prison. Now, what's the one combination I didn't give you? Well, the one combination I didn't give you was a single father home. And a single
Mm,
father home has the exact same success rate as a mother and bio mother, bio mother, and a bio father in the home. Now, why?
wow, that's powerful.
Because fathers raise children, women nurture children. Women
Mm,
teach them that soft side. But men will
Yeah.
go, get your booger hook out of your nose. Quit digging on your butt. You got to go, right? What are you doing? That's what men are supposed to do. Men are that discerning part of a child. They make children hesitate. Well, if I put my finger in my nose, dad's going to yell at me. Maybe I shouldn't do it in public. I keep putting my finger in my nose until I find a place where dad doesn't yell at me. Well, that might be not in public somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
again, this is the where fathers have this huge role, but we've negated them to an ATM machine for child support. We've negated them down to just some guy who just paves the road for me, or digs the
Right.
ditches, or when's the last time you had a woman show up and clean out your sewer line at the house?
Yeah.
Just asking,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Haven't
So
seen that.
yeah, women are amazing. Women are beautiful. Women have great skills at doing women stuff. And I don't want to do
Right.
women's stuff. I didn't want to be a single father. I was a single father. I had full custody of my children, and I didn't want to be a single father. I wanted a woman to be there, to be the softer side of me, and I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be the
Right.
softer side. I wanted to be dad. I wanted to be that influence to my children. So I coached football. I
Right.
coached wrestling. I was a youth pastor. Did all the things I was supposed to do, but I didn't have the woman standing there lifting me up. Now, if I want to give you one motivating thing right here, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me for just a second. A lot of the women are out there like they may have already turned this off, but listen to me. Those of you that are left. Bill Clinton became president of the United States, and he's the most dullard person in the world. He's an idiot. And
Mhm.
because his wife believed in him so much, he became president. Imagine if you believed in your man the same way Hillary Clinton believes in Bill.
Wow.
What could your man become? Just to
Anything they
just
want.
Exactly. And if he
Yep.
wants to be the best mechanic, then find a way to make him the best mechanic. Find out
Yeah.
what he needs. If he needs that coffee made in the morning so you can stay home. So let's say your man leaves for work at 6 a.m. That means you got to get up at 5 to make him some coffee and pack him a lunch. And then when he leaves at 6, you can go back to sleep. Shut your
Yeah.
mouth.
It's
Get
worth
up,
it.
get coffee made, go back to sleep at 6, or just get up so that you're on the same sleep cycle as he is, and get your children ready for the day and let them have a bountiful day as well. And you
Right.
be those children and that man need every single day. Just be that. And that's not
Right.
hard. It's very natural. I didn't ask you to cut your toes off. I said, be you. Be
Yeah,
amazing. Right?
you'll love this, Jim, because though I'm not getting up super early and doing the whole morning routine with him, because he just has his own thing going. I make
Right.
sure though that when he gets home every night, that the house is cleaned up. Even just little things. When he walks in the door, I literally think about his viewpoint. When he walks in, is there clutter on the floor, clutter on the table? Just when he's walking in, I want it to be as serene as possible. And I do
Yeah.
generally have 9 times out of 10, I have dinner ready. And it's not
There you go.
because I've been enslaved. This is willful servitude. But
Yeah.
this is something I did not have this wiring when I was working the 9 to 5 career woman focused on just climbing the corporate ladder, being a
Yeah.
mom from 6:30 p.m. to 9 when I put him to bed. That was completely different, right? It was the pissing contest. Oh, you didn't
Mhm.
get dinner ready. You got home an hour before me. Or, it was just who cleaned more, who did more with the kids. And it was not the best relationship through all of that. And so now making a point to take care of him in those ways, it's been coming back tenfold and things
Yeah.
are going very, very well. And I love
The
doing it. That
unspoken
might sound
unspoken
crazy.
Sorry, the unspoken battles. You didn't say to
Right.
him, he didn't say to you, you guys built up stuff in your head. So the one time the bicycle's in the driveway, the mail didn't get picked up out of the mailbox, it becomes nuclear, right? Only because it's all
Right.
these little bricks on you're like, oh, he didn't. And he
Right.
doesn't know. And you don't know what he's thinking. You're not knowing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you are trying to do more for each other, this is part of my show. Selflessness over selfishness. If you're trying to
Yes.
do more for him than you ever expect in return, then how will you be wrong?
Right.
Seriously. Now, I'm
You
not telling
won't.
you to be a doormat. I'm not telling you to be a doormat. I didn't
Yeah.
say that. But just these unspoken battles going on. You could literally eliminate all that BS inside all the angst, all that stuff, and one, talk,
Right.
say what's on your mind, but also just
Yeah.
do more for him.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's like His socks are always washed. Make sure his underwear is always whatever. Make sure that, just those little things he asks for. He's like, you know what? I'm so tired of this. Well, why don't you
Yep.
just make sure that doesn't happen anymore? How
Yeah.
hard was that?
Yeah.
Don't do that anymore. Okay. Don't do this thing that makes him mad. All right. Well, that's a tough negotiation. He didn't ask you to go walk the streets and make $100 a shot, right? Well, he's not telling you to be a prostitute. He just said, "Hey, I don't like it
Oh,
when like green beans." So when he makes that
right, right.
proclamation, I don't like green beans, but I do like
Yeah.
green bean casserole. Mental note: don't put
There
cans
you
of
go.
beans on his plate. Make it in a casserole. Ta-da! That's not
Yeah, it's
hard. It's
just
a little green
being
bean.
mindful.
Hey, wow.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what's
Well,
funny?
that's
Half
neat.
our marital arguments were about, I mean, when we didn't have much time off together, it was very difficult. But I didn't understand until 2020 why he works out 4 to 5 times a week and has since he was 16. So he's very routine. I'm more the opposite, fly by the seat of my pants in some respects. And it drove me nuts, to be quite honest, that he is very routine. He gets up, does the exact same thing. And in 2020, when the gyms all shut down, I really saw he was almost frantic. He was like looking through the house for weights and things that he could use. And I then realized this is a mental health outlet for him. He's a police officer, so naturally it's even more elevated and needed. But I realized it wasn't just this annoying habit of his that keeps him healthy, keeps him looking good. This is something he needs to do for his mental health. And I did used to nag on him for why the one day we're home together, why do you have to go to the gym? But once
Yeah.
it clicked for me, and I wish it would have clicked 15 years ago for me, but now that it has, I am now I don't put any roadblocks in the way of him achieving the things he needs to have
Yeah.
a clear mind. And I know you're into health. Talk to us
Yeah.
about that as an outlet and why it's so key on just being successful in life.
Well, your health, I mean, I used to think of my health as something I just took a pill for. And I was a
Yeah.
better living through history. But you see, I'm drinking from a copper cup here. This is an actual unfinished copper cup. What they call fermenting copper. I leave it in vessels so the copper uses electrolysis to purify the water. But your basic cell function and how your body works and all these things, the anxiety, the inflammation that we carry around, this causes us to act or overreact in certain ways that we really wouldn't be that happy to see our reaction to it, but we don't realize our bodies are telling us something. And hey guys, I used to, I did DoD contracting for 17 years. I was a big into, just doing whatever, give me a pill, doc, I got this or that. And I've now figured out that, what we're doing for our mental health and what we're doing for our physical health actually screws up the establishment's plan to destroy us or kill us off early. And we can actually go in and do things in a basic cell function. And you're just getting ready to actually, you just got your affiliate for mydailynaturals.com,
Right.
my.com. You've got your affiliate code for that. What is your affiliate code? What did you do for it?
KSOK, KSOK, KSOK.
There you go. So she's already got
Yep.
her affiliate code. So you guys are going to get a 10% discount. You're going to help support her show. But the basic cell function package that we're offering right now, and we're going to add more vitamins on later. But that gives you the iodine. That gives you the methylfolate. That gives you the magnesium. And that gives you the copper. Because if you don't have copper in your diet, everything else you're doing is expensive pee. I don't care if you're taking
Right.
10 million IUs of whatever it is every single day. You don't have copper, you don't have the magnesium, you don't have the methylfolate, and you don't have the iodine. The T3s in your cell will not fire, and you are living in a limp mode. You are
Right.
living that way. And everything that we're talking about, like you're talking about your husband's, health, his mental health. Well, that's serotonin levels. That's making sure that his serotonin's processing right. He's able to handle stress right. He doesn't have to flip out or freak out. 5-HTP is a mineral that we actually can use to bring the serotonin levels into control and allow us to deal with stressful situations without being adrenaline junkies or ego driven.
Right.
And anyway, cell function in our body and our body's ability to actually handle itself is absolutely necessary. And I love that you've come on board with all my daily naturals. I brought this vitamin line to us so that we could get things at a basic cell function working in the right way to make your life a better life for you and make you better
Right.
every day. That's all this is about. If I was just trying to make money, I'd tell you to buy a bunch of vitamin D and C and shove it down your neck and yeah, buy that vitamin C and D. But I wouldn't tell you that it's
Yeah.
expensive, right? Well, to
Right.
me, stupid, do the right thing for your body and your function. And if your husband's out there doing these things where he's working out or he's in the garage or he's doing these things, he seems like he's isolating himself. He's not isolating himself. He's just working through some things in his head that he has to get through.
Right.
Encourage that process because mental health then brings physical health, and getting your
Yes.
heart right and putting your heart in the right place every single day, being better than the day before, is absolutely essential. You guys, this right here, every single one of us, men, women, children, get this right inside, and understand that you are fallible. Don't work within your ego. Get outside of yourself. Get your health right. Get rid of the inflammation. Guys, you're not fat. You're inflamed. Just
Right.
understand that. You don't have vitamin deficiencies. You have cell absorption problems. Chromium picolinate will get you off of your insulin. Chromium picolinate will get you off insulin. Will make you non-insulin resistant. You're not diabetic. Diabetic is a symptom of insulin resistance. You
Right.
are if you change everything about yourself in that part of it. Don't follow diabetic diet. Follow the wrestler's diet. That will help diabetics. But chromium picolinate will soften the cell walls and allow the hormone insulin to travel freely in and out of the cells, and it makes you better. And so anyway, there's things out there that you're
There's
talking
so
about with
much.
health, and it's
Yeah.
so important.
It really is. And I'll tell you what, we've been seeing a lot. I'm sure you've seen a lot of memes all about the daylight savings, and we're rolling back the clocks, and people are feeling like they need to fall asleep at 4:30, right? And I'm one of those people, and I started realizing that I had fallen out of my routine with all the events I had recently. I just fell out of taking my iron. I'm always low in iron. I'm trying to get that back up, but different things that I do have control over, I fell out of the habit. And when the
Yeah,
time changed, I felt like a zombie. I literally was like, what is wrong with me? And I see all these memes floating around. I'm like, it doesn't seem like I'm the only one. I was
yeah.
looking into it, and it looks a lot like, well, one, minerals. Not all magnesium is created equal. So I'm glad that you have a high, yeah, one of the best ones out there. But it
Absolutely.
just looks like people in general, we're all tired as a society, and there are things that you can do about it. I don't know about you, Jim. I practice Wim Hof, the Wim Hof method. So
Perfect. Good.
anytime I'm feeling exhausted, I do cold finish showers in the morning, but then I will
Yeah.
stick my face in an ice bath.
Fair.
And
Yeah.
I will also, if I can't do my face, like say I have makeup on and I have to go record or something, I will do my hands in an ice
Yeah.
bath for a minute, minute and a half. And it really resets. I'm curious what your experience with that has been. We have about 2 minutes left here.
Absolutely. The Wim Hof, the cold shock effect is what we're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing stuff. Brown fat is created, all kinds of stuff, stress relief. If you can finish your shower off, let's say you don't want to do your whole body, just put your head in the
Yeah.
shower and put it over cold and let that do that. Just two things. One, it closes the hair follicles, so it makes your hair smoother and captures the conditioner. So you actually have that, or cream rinse, like we used to say when I was a kid, which we actually had cream there. But
Nice.
also, it wakes your body up. You become more alert. But let that cold water run over the top of your head, and it will cause you to panic. You will cry out. And
Hmm.
that's completely normal. I actually like when I do it. It's like, oh God, like what am I doing? But it's absolutely necessary. Cold shock therapy is really good for you. So look into that and practice that, as
Yeah.
well as learning how to breathe from the bottom of your lungs, the bottom lobes down here. And remember, breathing actually moves your blood more than your heart does. Your heart is a chambered vessel that helps move things in different directions, but your diaphragm actually pulls the blood up and down inside of your torso as well as out of your feet. So understanding deep breaths have everything to do with leg circulation and other circulation across the body.
Excellent. Jim, it has been absolutely fabulous having you on here. There's so much more we could dive into. But for now, where can people find you?
thejimpriceshow.com, or decentralized.media will be the new network I'll be on December 1st. But thejimpriceshow.com, I'm on all the social media platforms out there. Look me up and be a part of the difference, guys. Remember, the Constitution limits you, but or limits the limits the government, but never you. I got that backwards. Sorry, it limits the
That's
government, but
right.
never you, guys. So
He's
be good.
human, folks. All right,
Yeah.
excellent. Thank you so much, Jim. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, and I call you a friend now. You're an amazing person. So thank you very much for coming on, and folks, make sure to check out Jim. Thank you, and we will see you next Thursday.